Chris here. Going to be going over the most recent update that came out on February 19th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So one of the things that they did that I really wasn't a fan of was nerfing the Maddox, as you can see. They reduced the recoil stability for the first 5 shots, so you're going to have a lot more recoil in your first few shots, and it's going to, as a result, make you lose some gunfights. Quick draw was nerfed into the ground essentially. Your ADS speed's a lot slower. They reduced the speed that you get with stock, the move speed. They also reduced the recoil stability on ELO. So you're not going to have as much stability, just recoil wise across the board. And the max damage range was knocked off by 3 yards, which is considerable. The other assault rifles in this category all got buffed. The KN-57, of course, being the strongest, followed by the ICR and the Rampart. Now the Maddox, I would say, is probably the 4th strongest AR, which is insane to me because it was clearly the best gun in the game before, along with the SOG. And now it's been degraded to a point where it's not even a viable option in public matches. So I don't like that move on the part of Treyarch. It definitely has harmed the meta and made the game a lot slower. But onto the SMGs. They buffed the MX9, the GKS, and the Cordite, as well as the Damon 3XB. Shout out to the GOAT. If you don't know, that gun was actually inspired by Damon Karma Barlow from Optic Gaming. Karma 3 rings, the 3-time champ. So now you know. But the MX9 got improved range, improved ADS speed. The GKS got improved range. The GKS is now the best SMG in the game. Spitfire, of course, got nerfed, as you can see. The Cordite got buffed slightly, and the SOG got nerfed into the ground. The sprint speed is lower. Stock 2 is less effective and a lot slower now. And grip, I mean, it's just bad all around. I'm not even going to get into specifics and how they actually impact the game. It was just not a great choice to nerf the SOG in so many different ways. I agree that Stock 2 should have been nerfed a little bit just because it gave you too much strafing speed. Or, excuse me, the strafing speed was too high as a result. But I don't think the Stock should have been nerfed, and I definitely don't think the grip should have also been nerfed. I felt like the SOG was fine. It just allowed players to have a little bit too much speed when they were strafing. That was really the only issue with it. But otherwise, it really contributed something good to the meta of the game, which was just speed, along with the Maddox. And now that's something that's clearly missing from the game with the current meta that's come about in the aftermath of this update. Moving on to the next category, they buffed all of the tactical rifles across the board. Of course, the Swordfish is now one of the strongest options in the game in terms of assault rifles or long-range weapons. So now your assault rifle players will probably be running a Swordfish. I know I've seen Crim6 and others running Swordfish recently in scrims, so the Swordfish is looking to be the new top AR, taking the place of the Maddox and the ICR. The Maddox previously. The ICR is still a very viable option. They didn't really touch it. Of course, the Auger and the ABR also improved, but I felt that the ABR didn't really need any sort of buff since it was already in a good place to begin with. Didn't really need to be helped. But now it's just stronger, so if you use the ABR in pubs, you'll see how good it is now. LMGs, I'm going to skip over those. They don't apply to us in the competitive community. We don't use them. Snipers, so the Paladin PC only change. I'm not going to go over that. We don't play on PC. The Outlaw has improved firing speed, so a small change, but could be good overall. And the Koshka got improved ADS sway and improved ADS speed for quick draw too. So the snipers, nothing really big to take away here. They didn't really make many changes to them, and it's not going to impact the meta of the game in any major ways. Of course, for the pistols, all they did was just buff the RK7. And then the shotguns, they nerfed Dragon's Breath, so now it doesn't do damage over time. It just does one blast of damage. The damage range has been increased to 4.1 yards, so now it'll do more damage. Excuse me, it'll do damage at a greater range. And Quick Draw also was improved, the ADS speed. So, and then they improved barrel choke as well. They improved the accuracy, the pellet damage, and the max damage range. Perhaps the best uh, adjustment that they made to the shotgun category was nerfing the SG12 strobe light. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That thing. That was actually the bane of my existence in every public match that I encountered it in. It's impossible to counter. It was absolutely impossible to counter before this. So it's good to see that they nerfed it. I don't even see it nowadays. I really don't see the strobe light ever. So they definitely helped to balance the game out by nerfing that. Moving on to the specialists, Prophet, they nerfed the Seeker, so now it has fewer hit points and you can destroy it with one bullet. They also reduced the detection range against enemies with cold-blooded. So now if you have cold-blooded, the range in which it will detect you is smaller. So cold-blooded is a lot better at countering the Seeker. For Ajax, the 9-bang, they reduced the flash. So they just reduced how strong the visuals are when you get flash with the 9-bang. They also took away the animation where you would raise your hand even if you had tac mask. So now if you don't have tac mask, you'll still raise your hand, but if you do, you won't raise your hand. And now players can also change stances when they're flashed, which is good because before you couldn't do anything, you couldn't move. You just walk forward, but you couldn't do anything. And generally now active specialist weapons lose their cooldown on round changes. That was a good change. So now they've helped to balance the speed at which you will get your equipment per round. So on to the equipments, they increase the damage of the frag grenade, and for the concussion, they changed it so players can stun themselves with a concussion. And like I said before, they won't raise their hand if they get hit with a concussion and they have tac mask. Onto the perks. So now tac mask, players recover faster after being hit by a tempest, and they won't raise their hand when flashed by the 9-bang. Of course, I've said that 3 times now. Thank you, Treyarch, for overstating this. And the tac mask no longer provides fire or radiation resistance. That's been shifted to flak jacket, as you can see in the next line. They also improved flak jacket's resistance to radiation and burn. So they didn't really make too many changes to tac mask and flak jacket because they were both performing as they should previously, so no real need to make a change. Now on cold-blooded, they reduced the range for the Seeker, like I said before, so now we'll move on to the streaks. For the lightning strike, they reduced the delay between calling it in and actually having the strike come down. They improved the damage on the sentry, and they improved the time that it will retain targeting on a person after losing a line of sight. So if they step out of the line of sight, it'll lock back onto them when they step back into the line of sight. They also improved the range where the sentry detects people in a 360-degree radius. So now you won't necessarily want to stand as close to sentry guns because they will turn and burn you. You'll get turned on for sure. So stay away from sentry guns or just use 0 and EMP them. Drone squad, they improved the damage. This will be good for the pros since they use drone squad as their tier 3 a lot of times. They also improved the health on the sniper's nest, though, and they improved the explosive damage on the mantis, the radius of it rather. Getting into the last couple, they improved the thresher by improving the range and damage of the chain gun, and they also improved the health of the streak to counteract FMJ2, since that attachment allows you to take down streaks a lot easier. Um, Lastly, they improved the awareness radius of the strike team, so they'll sense people in a much larger radius now. They also improved the regeneration rate for the strike team members, so they will regain their health a lot faster than they used to before. They also made a general change to score streaks where team kills won't count towards team kill kick limit. So essentially, if the kick limit is 3, which is what I remember it being before, not sure if it's changed since I don't play hardcore. If the kill limit is 3, let's say your score streaks won't count. So just be kills with your gun or melees or what have you, equipment, etc. So yeah, so they made some good changes in terms of streaks and perks. Um, but in terms of the actual weapons, the SMG and the AR categories just they really shook things up. It remains to be seen if the meta of the game will somehow speed back up in the aftermath of this update. For the most part, the game is slowed down considerably. So we'll see what happens, but I'm optimistic. I mean, I think that as a community, we will overcome this. We've had updates like this in the past that were kind of a setback, but we always work around it and we always find a new meta. I'm just hoping that it doesn't essentially kill the momentum that the game has right now and has had for a long time. So that's something that remains to be seen. But, we'll keep an open mind. So hopefully Treyarch didn't kill their own game with this update, but, we'll see. Time will tell. All right, well, this has been a long enough rant slash update slash state of the union, I guess. Um, so I hope you guys will enjoy your morning, noon, or night, whatever it is where you are. And I will catch you on the next video. Have a great day. Night, noon, whatever time it is. Just enjoy yourself and have a good time. Peace.